Welcome back to Living Pacific Northwest, guys. Today, I'm going to be doing a 6-month review on the Redback UBBK Easy Escape boots. Here's the boots right here. I've had them for about 6 months. I'm just going to talk a little bit about them, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, but the majority is what I like about them. Let's get to it. So when I'm not making YouTube videos, I manage a detail center and a car wash. And that car wash has eaten boot after boot after boot. I'm in about an inch, sometimes more, of water and chemical, corrosive chemical, acid, what have you. This stuff will melt through plastic if you leave it in the concentrate. And like I said, this car wash has eaten through all the boots previous. Like, the majority of my boots last about 3 to 6 months before they start cracking at the heels or getting holes in them, soles coming off, what have you. Here are some examples. These ones aren't terrible, but they do have a crack right there which lets water in. I believe there's a crack on the heel of one of these too. But they both cracked in the same spot. These were cheap $20 boots. I don't really care about them. These were a little bit more expensive. These are about 50 bucks. Sorry, they've been outside. But as you can see, the heel has completely come unglued from the rest of the shoe. The front of it held up pretty well. These are lug boots. These are some cheap Walmart boots. Brams, I don't know. But these boots have held up for me 6 months total now. My coworker, he was an EMT before he worked at the wash, and he chose these boots. He has the steel toe version. These are not the steel toe, but he's had his for about almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. And they're in the same condition, if not better, than mine. And he used those for EMT work, so he's running around, kneeling down, crouching, everything. And then working at the wash with these too. And they performed fantastic and done great work for him and haven't fallen apart, ripped, or anything. So that's why I went ahead and bought them, because he recommended them. Let's talk a little bit about these boots. So these boots are oil, acid, slip resistant, and pretty much bomb proof. You can throw anything at these boots and they will bounce right back. The website says the thermoplastic polyurethane sole is resistant to 130 degrees Celsius. So it doesn't get that hot where I work, but that's good for auto techs, I guess, or welders. They do come in steel toe and non-steel toe. These are the non-steel toe. Steel toe my friend has. He says they're a little bit heavy, but I think he's just being a little wimp. But for me, they work fine, non-steel toe. Made from Rambler leather, not smooth leather. I don't know what the difference is. Waterproof. They're imported from Australia, I believe, which I have no problem with. The only problem is sizing. These are 7.5 in US. I wear 9.5 depending on company of the shoe and style of shoe or boot. So I actually got these in an 8 and they felt okay at the store. I got them at Whistle Workwear. They felt alright at the store. I went and worked for about a week and they got so stretched out, the leather got so stretched out that my foot was slipping in and out inside the actual boot. So I took them back and got a size 7.5, and they were really snug for the first week, really snug, but they eventually stretched out a little bit, and that's what the people at Whistle Workwear said they would do. These boots are snug and then they stretch out and then they'll stay that size. So I recommend getting half a size smaller than what you think you need. So I would definitely go to a store and try these out. Even if they're cheaper online, go to the store, put them on, see how they feel. Because I would hate for you guys to have to return something online for the wrong size. So definitely double check, triple check your sizing, make sure you get the right size boot. I got these boots with the discount from my work. I think it's 10% discount. Was about $150. I think they usually go for about 170, 180 bucks, depending. Which for me was a lot of money to spend on a boot, especially since the car wash literally destroys every boot you wear, no matter the brand. But these are the only ones that have seemed to stay alive throughout the whole 6 months. I'll do another review at 1 year and see what they're like. On mine, I don't know if you can see it, but I have ran into some metal. That's not for me. That's not from the boot itself giving up. That's from me cutting it on accident with some metal or what have you. Like I got another little slice right there, but it's still waterproof. Even though I've cut into the leather, it's still keeping water out. I'll do a water test here. I'll put some TP in there and we'll go run it under the hose and see how well this actually does repel water. I don't want to get these terribly wet because I gotta wear them tomorrow for work, so put it in the toe up there and then we'll go ahead and run the hose over these and see if any water gets in, any dampness gets in. But I already know they are pretty much watertight. I've yet to have any water get in through the leather. I've put water down here on accident, ran down my leg. The only wetness you'll get from this boot is sweat. Like during the summer, we do about 500 cars a day on average. I'm on my feet for about 10 hours and I sweat in my boots. Most people do. But my socks will be a little damp in here, but that's not from water getting in, that's just purely from me sweating. I'm curious to see how these do in the winter. It's December right now, and through November and October, my feet were getting a little bit cold. I wear wool socks with them. But I'm hoping through December and January, our coldest months, I'll be able to stay warm and not lose my toes in these. That's usually my problem with most boots is you lose feeling in your toes when you're out there doing 500 cars in the 20-degree weather because people are crazy and like to get their cars washed. That's my only concern with these boots. Aside from that, I have nothing negative to say about these. The sizing and the lack of ventilation is the only complaints I have. But I guess you can't really vent them too much because then they wouldn't be waterproof. I believe this is waterproof as well. We'll test that today, see how waterproof that is. So let's go ahead and move to the water test, guys. Alright guys, just got done with the water test. It beat it off pretty well. I definitely think this got some water through it. Let me go ahead and check real quick. Okay, so this was in the toe. Not damp, not at all. This was towards the... Okay, that is a little damp. I don't know if you can see that right there. Yeah, that's a little damp. This is dry. So it was sitting in there like this though. So the only reason this is damp, I believe, is because of this. Let me see if I can't get a flashlight. I don't know if you guys can see, but down there below the logo is a little bit of water, and this actual, that brown spot is kind of damp right in here. But I was kind of expecting that. I expect this to get wet, but for as much water as I put on there, there's not that much water actually in the boot, and this wasn't that damp. There's just this much dampness. I don't know, that's not that much to me. Now I just got to dry it off before work tomorrow. But everything else, yep, completely dry. Everything's dry in there. Now, I know I didn't do a super accurate test with the hose. I could have submerged this in my tub, yes. But like I said, I have work tomorrow and I don't really want to have a wet boot. It's about 38 degrees right now and I'm not going to have that tomorrow. Maybe in a later review. We'll see. I already know these are waterproof in terms of the leather though. I was kind of curious about this, but now I know. Overall, would I buy these boots again? Yes. I would definitely spend the $150, $60, $70 for these boots. If you're working in wet environment and chemical and acid and slip. It's really slippery at the car wash. Other boots, you slip and slide all over the place, fall down all the time. But these ones, I haven't had a problem at all. I'll let you guys know how these do throughout the winter. And like I said, in about another 3 or 6 months, I'll do another review on them and give you an update on how well they hold up. But I would definitely buy these again. If you're dealing in wet environments, slippery environments, chemical or acid that eats through any other leather or rubber boot that you've bought before, I would choose these. Overall, they're fantastic boots, and I would definitely buy them again. But that's it for today, guys. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you want me to do any other tests on these boots. And I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good night.